Philosophical theology is a type of theology that employs philosophical methods to develop or analyze theological concepts, including natural theology, orthodox, and heterodox theology. It is closely related to the philosophy of religion. Mortimer J. Adler differentiates between philosophical theology and natural theology, which he argues is actually apologetic. He believes that philosophical theology is the domain of non-Christian philosophers, while natural theology is the province of Christian believers attempting to find rational proofs for their faith. Charles Taliaferro and Chad Meister disagree with Adler's position, advocating that anyone practicing philosophical theology may be involved in exploring the philosophical sense of theological doctrines. The relationship between theology and philosophy has been controversial for centuries. Tertullian, an early Christian theologian and apologist, claimed that philosophy often corrupted theology, leading to unorthodox beliefs not grounded in tradition. He famously asked, "What has Athens to do with Jerusalem?" Others, including Justin Martyr, viewed philosophy and theology as complementary. St. Augustine, a towering figure in Western theology and philosophy, advocated a more moderate approach. He encouraged the use of philosophy as long as it was rooted in Christian faith. The role that philosophy plays in the interpretation of scriptures is explored in Anthony Thiselton's Fusion of Horizons, particularly in the field of hermeneutics. While some, like Sadhu Sundar Singh, argue that the illumination of the Holy Spirit offers the truest revelation, cultural grids undoubtedly shape theological development. Nevertheless, many contemporary philosophers continue to write from a Christian perspective, imbuing Christian concepts into their work. Over the years, theologians have responded to modernist and Enlightenment attacks on Christian theology through approaches like fideism, which argues that faith should be solely based on divine revelation. Other approaches include Reformed epistemology, asserting that belief in God can be foundational without logical or evidential justification. Philosophical theologians attempt to reconcile theological concepts with developments in philosophy, like the questions of how to prove the existence and nature of God. In contemporary contexts, many theologians have turned to continental philosophy, analytic philosophy, and postmodern philosophy to reframe Christian theology. Finally, recent theologies like process theology, open theism, and Christian panentheism have looked at God's influence on the world as a source and ground of all being, rejecting the classical medieval doctrine of impassibility. The theme of the story is the differing interpretations of the divinity and humanity of Christ by theologians. Philosophical theologians stress the importance of finding a philosophical foundation for this assertion. On the other hand, theologians like Rudolf Bultmann adopt a demythologization approach where they strip away mythic interpretations of the New Testament to reveal its essential truths. They also make a clear distinction between the relatively unimportant Jesus of history and the all-important Christ of faith, an approach referred to as the quest for the historical Jesus.